Now we're live.
There we go.
Yes, that's a joke
We
for
did it.
6 of us. That's a joke
have to
for
listen to
6
that
of
music
us.
one more time.
Are you guys like
only
me?
mildly humiliating? Yeah.
Where the Simpsons have influenced you, that when there's a countdown on the screen like that, I always do. I think it was Abe Simpson who's like, "Here comes 2" when it goes from 3 to 2. Every time I see a countdown, that goes into my head. I will never forget that. Hey guys, I'm Zach Harper. This is the Athletic Jade-A-Thon. We're raising money for Jade and his family. As some of you know, if you don't know, Jade was in a car accident back on Thanksgiving. It's been a very tough few months, a very long road to recovery. And we've already done an incredible job as a community reaching out and supporting the family. Raised over $80,000 so far, but we're not at the goal yet. So we're doing this live stream. We're on YouTube. We're, I don't know, maybe other places, but we are here to raise money for Jade, tell some stories. We'll talk some, I don't know, we can talk literally anything in true Jade fashion.
And Zach, so, you're going until we get to the 100,000, right? You're going.
I am going for an hour. And then I got a lot of shit to do the next 4 days. Okay.
Well, you're not busy. It's not a busy time of year for you.
This is not about me. I am stretched thin right now.
Zach, I would like to retract the damn I said after hearing 80,000 to clearly indicate that we need $20,000 in the next.
$20,000.
Yeah,
$20,000 or Pablo will leave ESPN. Okay,
that's right.
Or if we get to $20,000, Pablo will leave ESPN
again.
Yeah, it's either a threat or like a hopeful promise again. Yes, like, and you know what? He's gonna eliminate every episode of the Daily, every single one. Gone.
That's right. That's right. That vault that I know you still go into and you watch and listen, because and by watch I mean you listen and you imagine me in the theater of your own mind. Yeah, that shit's going away, guys.
It's gone.
That's all going away.
Good luck re-downloading. It'll be gone.
I almost made a Chad Ford joke, but Jade doesn't like it when we talk shit about other people.
That is not true.
It's
Jade talks shit constantly about
no, he didn't like when we brought up people on a podcast though.
That he did. That's true. That part he's given me that note.
It's not a podcast.
I'm just doing the
There you go. It's not a podcast.
I'm just making sure I can laugh at the Chad Ford joke now, given my employment arrangement. I'm like,
you got to check that NDA. You don't know what
we're good now.
Yeah, we're good.
I think we're good. I definitely did not want to draft Darko first overall. Absolutely.
What a weird time, man. I wish Twitter was around just for that. Just for that. People are like, what the fuck's going on? So I'm Zach Hart. We got Jay King. We got Andrew Schleck. We got Mo Dakhil. We got Dave DeFore. And we got Pablo Torre. We're going to have a lot of people cycling in and out of here with almost no plan. No plan as a tribute to Jade as we raise money. You can see the GoFundMe link, gofund.me/C53D0AFA. It is just that simple. Go there. Donate $1. Donate $1,000. Donate $20,000. We'll get out of here. We'll get out of here right now at $20,000. Actually, that's not true. Once we get to the other $20,000, I'm going to demand $300,000. Or the internet's going away. You don't think I can do it? I got the power.
500,000 or we destroy the moon.
Moon's gone. Good luck getting a tide, surfers. Okay?
Over.
That's how that works, right?
C53D0 AFA.
AFA.
Yep.
AFA D's nuts, as they say. Pablo,
what's
going on?
Not a lot. Not a lot. It occurred to me. What's up, Trey? It occurred to me that me agreeing to do this is kind of one of my first things I've done since actually leaving ESPN in a way that has traded my health insurance from Disney in exchange for whatever Stugatz has, which is not encouraging if you've listened to Stugatz at all in the last 2 years.
Good luck.
But no, I am here to declare with all earnestness that like Jade Hoy was my gateway drug into podcasting.
Oh,
like this was not a medium that I really had thought a lot about until I ended up doing a lot of like, and it's even hard to call them shows because what Jay did was build like a community of extraordinarily strange people, of whom I count myself proudly as one. And that dude is an artist. He's a fucking artist who made this thing cool to me. And I know with you guys at The Athletic, you have been working with Jade, man, there is nothing like it. There is nothing like it. And I only have fondness for the fact that he kind of blew my mind as to what this was ever going to sound like whenever we did a show together, because that shit was not linear. It was not structured, but you listen back and I was like, this man is actually a genius. And so, yes, all of my support that I am demanding in a threatening way, doing of $20,000.
Yeah,
it comes from that place.
It's weird how disjointed Jade is to talk to about this stuff, like, because his mind just goes everywhere, right? Like you said, he's an artist, and his mind just goes to all these different places. Like, it's like the movie. I mean, it's a cliche reference for a reason, but it's like the movie Next with Nick Cage, where he sees all the possibilities of what's about to happen in the next 30 seconds.
Nick Cage.
Yeah. And so it does this, and so it feels like you do the pod and it feels like very scattered and everything, and then you do listen to the product and I'm like, the fuck did this come from? I don't even remember saying half this stuff. Like, is it like a chat GPT or something? Like, I don't know what it is, but it's some way of creating this podcast of incoherence that is completely coherent, and like, that's hard to do because everything else is just like, all right guys, let's talk injuries today, and what games do we have tonight, and like, that shit is so boring. No offense if you do that stuff, but but that shit's so boring, right? Like, it's something where I remember the first time podcasting with Jade, of going into it thinking, all right, here's another boring podcast production, and it's like, it's just lively and it's empowering, and it's something that I think the tricky part about doing this stuff is the vulnerability of wondering, like, is it going to sound good and is it going to resonate with people? And Jade just has a way of like forcing it to resonate.
Yes, he's a musician. He's an artist. He's a musician. Sound is God. I'm very selfishly, I'm like, can Jade get better so I can ask him how to make a podcast, which is what my next job is. I'm like, Jade, get well soon. I fucking need you, dude. Like, I have a call that I have scheduled. It would be helpful if you were someone who could advise me on that, please.
Right.
But my favorite thing about Jade is a 10-minute phone call turning into 2 hours because you have no idea where this went.
Never had a phone call.
He just takes you places.
Less than 45 minutes with Jade. Like, never one.
I have a 5-minute voicemail from Jade.
How much is that as JFK speeches?
I mean, I had a death in my family, and I went away for a couple weeks, and Jade checked on me every single day. And one day I didn't answer the phone when he called, and I was like, oh my God, this guy, he left me a podcast.
That's the best part, man.
Yeah.
I was the late night call from Jade. Jade be in the office editing and doing this stuff, and I'm just looking like, Jade, it's 1:30 a.m. Eastern. Why are we talking about Bono right now? Like, hey, bro. He'd be like, hey, buddy, you up? I'm like, Jade, my phone lit up. What's going on, man? You're on my emergency contacts. What's up? I mean, I was listening to this Mac Miller album, and it's genius. It's just a genius. I'm like, Jade, just couldn't wait till tomorrow. He's like, nah. He's like, man, I just want to talk, buddy. I'm like, all right, bro. We'll talk. We'll stay up till like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll be tired as shit. Like,
yes.
I really learned to appreciate that, because it meant he was thinking about you. And you know what I mean? So like, Jade was thinking about me. So Jade would call me, and we didn't talk music. We talked history a lot though. Cause Jade wants to talk to you about the thing that, that you guys share a passion for. I miss talking to Jade every day because he literally is the person I talk to 6 days a week for the last, I don't know how long we've been doing this, Zach, 5 years,
Yeah.
And so, I learned to appreciate that Jade was thinking about me, on a random Wednesday afternoon,
A couple of weeks ago, I was searching something in my phone, in my text. I couldn't, and I wasn't searching for this, but I came across a fight Jade and I were having. And just like, it actually, like, it was weird. Like, I actually missed that, of like the two of us getting
butting heads, man,
irrationally mad at each other, and just like, fuck off, fuck you, like all this stuff. And just like, because this may shock everyone watching, listening, especially you guys, like Jade and I can be a bit of a hothead individually.
No.
Like it's kind of it's
No way.
a little there on the
Zach
surface.
Harper?
Yeah, and Jade. And so like we would like just one little like powder keg would just throw it into absolute just pandemonium. And I really want to fight with him again. I really just want to yell at each other because it's just fun.
So Pablo wants him to come back just to work, and Zach wants just to
need a fight, man. Yeah.
Just
need an argument.
And Dave just wants some more voicemails.
Yeah, Dave just needs
I just need a voicemail. I'm
voicemails.
easy. Low maintenance. Just leave me a voice. Send me a text, and then edit some of these shows. You know, that's it. I just need some help.
And Trey needs some sleep deprivation. That's what we need.
No. I like well-rested Trey. Trey has been taking his sleep seriously. I respect it.
Hey, man, I haven't podcasted in like 2.5 weeks after coming off McDonald's All-American. So this is like the closest thing to a podcast for me. So I'm happy to be back.
He had to deal with the Bronny storm.
You know what? I'm going to talk about that, right? Real quick. Great kid. The adults part is shitty. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the part that gets clouded in all this whole thing of like, oh, he doesn't want to do media and they don't want to do all this other stuff. I get it. I seen a Deadspin article. I think Karan wrote it about like eventually Bronny's going to have to speak for himself. He did today in Team USA. But again, somebody was asking like, hey, do you know when you're going to have a date or make a decision? And he was getting ready to say it. He's not ready for that yet. He's not ready for that. He's not super media trained. You would think that he'd be trained in the James household, but not ready. But like, as far as dealing with him with the cameras off, great kid. You know what I mean? Just being a kid. But he doesn't, I don't think he realizes sometimes that he's a celebrity kid and he's not like just one of the guys. He had a security guard everywhere he went, which was like, how is this going to work in college? You get what I'm saying?
Like, think about that though. Like, what a weird demand on a 17-year-old. Hey man, you got to speak to us. Like, you got to speak to the media. Like Pablo, that's weird. It's weird. It's weird the world that has been created.
It's both shocking and totally unsurprising that they have protected him to the point where he is not ready for this. Yeah, for us. When you get to the pros, buddy,
I'm gonna swarm.
Hey,
but Trey, but for real though, like there is a balance between like, you know, it's one thing to be a child star as LeBron was. It's another thing to be the child star of a child star. And your life, I mean, this has been like I've been talking about Bronny for 5 years on television. I remember like on High Noon, we did the whole thing of like his first dunk that went viral. And I remember already being like, I feel creepy.
Shout out to High Noon, man.
Well,
great.
This was actually the first year I felt like all the hype kids were of age. Like I've been overly exposed to the Mikey Williams, the Bronny James, the Jada Williams, the Juju Watkins, all these kids. And I finally get to see them, the DeJuan Wagner Juniors. And I'm like, they're kids, dude. But
Mikey Williams has been an internet star since 1984. Like, this kid's been around.
He's basically the Perry Ellis of high school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
But the idea that there is a guy who's been around so long that it feels like they're not in high school, but they still are, is exactly what you should know about what high school basketball is now, and what obviously pre-college basketball, because it's more than just organized high schools.
Right.
It's that shit. But when you talk about like them jumping in to like intercede with Bronny, man, like, yeah, I wonder. Like, it's very funny to imagine like how you coach him and get him ready, right? If you have all the resources in the world, you have a dad who has the most, you could argue, successfully manipulative strategy of media in general of any athlete we've ever seen. Like, yeah, how do you prepare for that? How do you do that?
Yeah.
Is it worth if you're a school or a coach? Is it worth the trouble?
You said if
yes.
If LeBron is like criticizes you publicly, like what are you gonna do, right?
I mean, at this point, you got to just do what you're gonna do because you don't have no control over it. And I think LeBron was really hands off, honestly. Like when the West coach was doing stuff, he had them doing burpees, bro. I said, "Oh, you taking this You taking all-star practice to the serious point, right? He's really flexing his muscle because cameras is out, right?
I'm
it's
a
open
basketball
practice.
coach.
All the NBA
shit.
scouts are there.
Burpees are not basketball shit.
But I'm
No,
sitting
that's
there-
definitely not
basketball shit, man.
Like they're doing defensive slides, they're closing out, and like his partner was Jared McCain, the kid's that TikTok star who's going to Duke.
He is
right?
a TikTok star. He's a bigger TikTok star than he is
I've
basketball
never
star, and
seen
he's
I've
going to
never
Duke.
seen little kids scream at a high school player. It was like the Disney Channel. I was looking, I said, Jared, we gotta go.
Yeah.
Hold on. I just want to sign one more jersey for the kids. I want to sign this basketball. And I'm like, okay.
Hold on.
And I'm
real
like,
quick.
they're like, yo, we follow you on TikTok. And when I heard that, I was like,
There it is. Yeah. Hold on. Can we talk about the Jason Preston AT&T commercial? This just made me think of. Have you seen this during the tournament? Do you know who Jason
Well,
Preston
I have
is?
because I was with you.
Yes.
Jason Preston is a blogger.
Please explain this commercial.
So there's this 18. They did a bunch of like NCAA tournament, like, oh, here's Steven Adams, here's Shea Alexander, like all this stuff, right? But just promoting like NCAA tournament, and they do this commercial with Jason Preston, who was the 33rd pick of the draft a couple years ago by the Clippers or whatever it was, and they're like, this kid averaged 2 points per game in high school. He never played. He never got to get off the bench. Then one viral moment changed everything, and it like shows some like dunk he did in like I don't know a YMCA or something. And then I was like, it's like, then he got drafted. And it's like, yeah, but he's not good. Like, you're not promoting a success story. You're promoting here's when the internet gets it wrong. Like,
this is absolutely a success story. He was awesome,
but not a sustainable.
He was awesome
one.
at Ohio. He was
Awesome
awesome
is
at
interesting.
Ohio. He was great in college.
Oh,
I'm not going to sit here and listen to you
Who
disrespect
was
Jason
this a commercial
Preston.
for?
Jason Preston, who's like
AT&T.
barely on the
No,
Clippers
at
G League
AT&T.
team.
I see.
At AT&T, yes.
Jason
So-
Preston. He was a Pistons blogger. Did you know that?
No,
Like,
why
in high
would,
school-
why
in
would
high school,
anyone
he
know
was-
that?
He was a Pistons
Because
blogger.
Jay,
he
it's
was
Jay,
he was
Zach.
literally
The dude
writing
sends
about the
nothing but
team, and now
garbage
he's
in
in the
our chat.
NBA. This dude is absolutely a huge success story.
He's not.
I watched none of the men's tournament, so I didn't see a single second.
Oh, you missed
the
out
only-
on some
The
ugly ass
only clip
basketball.
I even saw was the San Diego State game winner. So as far as I know, they won the title.
I mean, that's how I view it too. Like
It's a better story.
yeah, it's a way better story.
The real
UConn.
reason why San Diego State lost is because Zach had to go to a different sports bar that he
Yo,
normally
this-
goes to.
Think about this, okay? This bar is missing out on a shit ton of revenue. They're closed on Mondays. That means no Monday Night Football, no NCAA tournament championship game. I watch every game at this place except for the last one. What happened?
Wow.
So in my mind, UConn, throw an asterisk on that. Like that doesn't count as a title. Because the mecca of basketball happens, and that's right, you guessed it, Sherman Oaks, California. That's where basketball center of the universe is for watching the tournament. And so, Pablo, I don't know how you feel about this, but I would like to congratulate San Diego State on the championship.
Do you think that's why Kawhi Leonard played the first full second half of his career in 10 years because he was inspired by San Diego State
I mean,
and your bar not being open?
I think so. I think that's what's happened. I think that's why
That
the
stat
Clippers
blew me away. Can I say that? That stat, I mean,
Yes.
it shouldn't be surprising because I've watched Kawhi Leonard for a decade. But the fact that was literally the first full second half he had played in 10 years
Mhm.
is it's perfect.
It's
I-
weird
it was amazing.
that the Lakers haven't beaten the Clippers outside of the bubble since pre-pandemic.
What is it, like 37-8 or something in the last 43 or 44 games? It's something ridiculous.
I
like
just
that.
know it's 11
then-
straight. Like
And
11
the fact
straight.
is, the Clippers still don't matter in LA. They still
tough,
don't
man.
matter. They still haven't.
that
They
sucks.
still haven't
I feel
made-
bad for
They haven't
them.
made a dent. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was there when I was working for the team. Even when the Lakers were ass, they still outdrew us, had a better ratings than us, and everything. And we were playoff team at that point. It was just at that point I was just like, never going to have a chance. Always.
all
gonna
right,
be
here
second
we go.
best.
I don't know how this came up, but I was tweeting about this morning. In a total of 169 games, the Lakers are 104 to 65, 61 61% all time versus the Clippers. The Lakers hold the longest series streak between those two at 16 wins from 1997 to 2000. They beat the Clippers' ass.
Oh, shout out
Right?
Lamont Murray, Lloyd Vaught. Oh my
So
God, what a time! Eric
now-
Piatkowski,
So
Polish
now,
rifle.
Iakowski was the truth.
pandemic
He could
year
shoot.
2020 to current year, the Clippers hold the streak at 11 wins.
Yeah, March 8th, 2020 was the last time the Lakers beat the Clippers at Staples or Crypto. Or
And then
whatever
COVID happened.
they
That
So
was
maybe that's why we
pre-pandemic.
had-
Yeah.
COVID. Yeah.
That was
Yeah, yeah.
I do want to revise the stat I gave, so it's even more. Tonight is the first time Kawhi Leonard has played all 24 minutes and a half of basketball since the second half of Game 7 of the 2013 NBA Finals. A half, any sort of a half. This was the first time.
That's a lot of minutes, though. If you
It
think
is a
about
lot of
it,
minutes.
You know, like
He actually, I want to say he even played. So in that game last night, he played like 31 straight minutes, I think, of game action. Which is,
I'm surprised he never did it under Nick Nurse in the finals. That's the shocker
not.
here, because Nick
That-
Nurse will
no.
play his guys
Jay
forever.
just
barely
discovered
finished
that
the
Nick Nurse
finals,
wears a hat with his initials
I
on it.
I did
Hey.
not.
Yeah,
just
that was
discover
during the
that. He was
finals.
in Boston last night. He was in
Hey,
Boston last night.
in
and
the
it's
words of
outrageous.
Did you know that he
Jade-
travels
Jade-
with a guitar, Jay?
Yes.
He
I
thinks
knew
he's
that.
Tiger Woods or freaking Tom Brady or something.
Mhm.
In the words of Jade in that Pablo stat, he would call that a stage social media event.
Oh,
Mm.
that's true. It is.
we
Yeah. Pablo, what's your favorite outside of podcasting thought about Jade? Because I know you've been to a wedding together. You've come to live shows that we've done. You've been on stage with us. You've hung out
Yeah.
outside of work. Like, what's something that comes to mind?
That Jade is more willing to hang out with complete strangers in ways that defy everything I was told growing up as a child online more than anyone else. He's like, oh yeah, this guy's staying in my hotel room tonight. He's like a fan of the show. I just DM'd him. I was like, Jade, like why? And he's like, well, you need a place to stay. I'm just like, Jade, if you were not the most generous person that I know who wants to build this community organically, like I would be telling you to stop living your life in this way. Like but Zach, you remember like what he loved more than anything when he was doing like the live shows was actually meeting people.
Yeah.
Like there's
Yeah.
no one who like we talk about like love of the game. No one loved the game. No one has more unreleased, unrecorded conversations maybe on the planet than Jade-A-Thon.
Oh my
Just
God.
talking to people.
Yeah.
Like that,
Yeah.
the genuine passion he has for people on the internet who have expressed some degree of affection for what he also cares about is probably the most defining characteristic of him. Besides being, yes, like an actual artist who really is does not give a fuck
we
about
had-
what your standards of anything are.
More stragglers at our Airbnbs than I'm like, why is this person here? And he's like, oh, they're staying. I'm like, they're staying? Like, I don't know this person's name. What are you talking about?
I
Oh, we
feel
know they're
uncomfortable.
murderers. Like, yeah, like this is nuts. And I think one of my favorite things about Jade is he would be like, oh, I got the most wonderful letter from a listener just talking about it. And I'm like, people writing letters, like that's crazy. And he just like it was like months of him being like
Hashtag
"Ah,
Jade
the most-
cares.
the most incredible letters from people. And I was like blown away. I'm like, I cannot believe he's getting mail, right? And then I come to find out he's just talking about DMs he got, like on Twitter. Like I'm like, why are you calling these letters? And he's like, well, people are writing them. I'm like, yeah, man, I
Yes.
don't know. I had like him opening up this envelope and unfurling the scroll and just like,
Jade,
oh
you
my
should not be
goodness.
taking packages from the internet.
Kenny in Louisville loves the pod. Like, but you're right. Like he's the most accepting person of complete strangers, and especially like those who are just like interested in it,
Yes.
right? Like just interested. Like not even like, oh, I've been listening forever. They're like, I came across this, I find it interesting, and he's like, let's connect on it.
Yep. He is perpetually like in my brain. He is riding a double-decker bus through a city and meeting and doing it with total strangers. I mean, you remember that? Like Jade.
Out. Hold on, we gotta. He freaked out. It was the last show we did in San Francisco, and the day before, maybe it was the day of the show. we're riding a double-decker bus, and Jade, I don't know, maybe it had something, I don't know what he had something, and he starts looking around, and I'm sitting next to him. He's like, the trees are dying. I'm like, what? He's like, these trees are dying. I'm like, okay, like I think they'll be all right, man. We'll get some rain. It's San Francisco, it'll be fine. He's like, no, man, they're dying. They're not taking care of these trees. And the rest of the time, like he starts asking the double-decker tour bus about the trees. He's talking about them constantly. And then at one point, like on the show, it was either that night or the next night, he like does this like 10-minute monologue on like trees are dying in this city. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, what but you're right. Like he loves a fucking double-decker bus tour like more than anything.
Oh my god, yes he does.
Zach, that was the double-decker was the day before the show, because that morning I stopped by the Airbnb because I wasn't included in the house. Just regular stragglers.
You should have just shown up. Apparently anybody could stay there.
I would have just stayed there. But I show up to go grab coffee with Jade. And we passed by a tree that like a stump that had clearly been cut. And he spent 5 minutes before we like stopping and staring at that going, Mo, look at this. Like, why would they cut this? I go, I don't know, Jade, maybe it fell. No, but it's like, look at the way I go, no, it probably fell. And then they cut like Jade, like all like he spent 5 minutes just on that. So then when we get to the show, when he starts doing that rant, I was just like, oh, this is still going.
Hey, it's Tom Haberstroh.
Hey, speaking of scragglers who've maybe been on a double-decker bus or two.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Done a river walk in San Antonio with Jade.
Oh yeah.
And lost him for quite a long time because he just kind of fell into a different crowd and then just vanished. And we were on ESPN's dime trying to like get me and Amin were trying to tape a video. And that's just Jade, man. He just finds his people and he sticks with them. And then like a few hours later, he just like popped up randomly at the Riverwalk.
He made me do a gummy. He made me do a gummy bear shot on the Riverwalk one night, and it's the worst thing I've ever tried. It was awful, absolutely awful.
Gritty.
Oh God, it was like someone was pouring a 3-ounce shot of diabetes into me. Like it was just awful, just completely awful. I also remember in Cleveland doing a walk with Jade from the hotel to the arena where he was mad at Tom. You think he was mad at Tom, he was mad at Amin, and maybe Ethan as well, because you guys had prioritized someone else's podcast over recording, and he was just motherfucking you guys left and right. And then we got to the arena and he was fine. He got out of his system and he was like happy to see you guys when he saw you, and it just completely changed his mood immediately when he saw you.
There is nobody who's better at just disappearing off the face of the earth for hours at a time. And then you like expect to like have some beef with him, and it's as if it never happened.
Right.
He does that a lot where he's just like, I don't know. He like, you think that he's going to confront you about something, and then it's just it's all good. And how many times in the NBA finals, we're driving to the Oracle and Jade is like terrified because Amin's driving. Has anyone here been in the car with Amin driving before?
Oh, he's a terrible driver. Terrible driver. Oh my God.
And Jade giggling / terrified the whole time. Pablo, I feel like we've been in San Francisco together with Jade driving around town.
Oh yeah. I mean, that was I definitely walked across the Golden Gate Bridge with Jade during that trip. Jade loved a tourist site. Maybe we're just sort of dancing around the obvious here. Jade loves to do tourist shit in a way. And by the way, this is another aspect of him, Tom, that I'm reminded of, is that Jade has a wonder at things, and occasionally genuinely like innocent, which could spiral into obviously deeply internet rabbit hole-y wonder at so many different things, including tree stumps, including shit that I take for granted. To be around Jade is to be with someone who is just fucking into his surroundings and pointing out stuff that I consider myself a curious person. Jade is noticing all sorts of shit and he is really well read. Like he is somebody who knows a lot about a lot of different things, and in ways that are legitimately terrifying. But the point is that Jade's passions, they remind you like I should probably enjoy the shit that I'm doing and walking around every day being numb to, because this guy is literally riding a double-decker bus like a tourist who does not speak English, who's never been to America before, and he's having the time of his goddamn life.
Pablo, he's the type of guy who will like see a black bear attacking his house, and he'll just be like, did you know that black bears, they only come out in like from this date to this date, and this is what they forage on? And you're like, dude, the bear is eating your deck.
Kids
right
are
now.
right here. Like,
Yes.
He's one of a
make
guy.
sure you make, again, it rolls off the tongue. GoFund.me/C53D0AFA. That's where you can donate. We're over $85,000 right now. We're at 997 donations. We're raising money. Again, we've threatened this. If you're just now joining us, if we do not reach $100,000, Pablo Torre is going to leave ESPN.
That's right. I'll do it.
He's gone. He'll do it.
I have a child, and I'm going to leave Disney Health Insurance in ways that are definitely not going to be a source of great regret and tension in my household.
Stu Gatz will be his doctor. Yeah.
God.
Like, oh, you broke your arm? Have a heater.
It's the 30 Rock thing of calling 911. Excuse me, a diabetes repair?
Shout out to Dr.
Dr.
Spaceman. Yeah. Whoa, it's The Office's John Krasinski. Holy
wow.
shit.
Had to stop by. I just got done filming the latest Jack Ryan, and here we are. So
there it is. Yeah.
anything
I
for
thought
Jade,
you were going to
man.
drop a Fantastic Four on us. We're waiting on us.
No spoilers.
No announcements just yet. I'm not at liberty to discuss that publicly. So happy
How
to be
are
here
you
for my
friends
guy.
with Jade, but you're also in the CIA?
I contain multitudes. My boys. That's how I do it.
All right.
Jade's
how about
just
this?
kept him an arm distance away.
If we don't get to $100,000, one, Pablo is going to leave ESPN, and two, you're never getting another Jack Ryan.
Never.
You're never getting another Quiet Place.
An Office reunion? No,
Not happening.
chance.
No way.
No,
Not happening.
chance. Get the dollars up. Get in there.
Yeah, get the dollars up.
And-
Get in there.
Yep. And if you do get to 100,000, then Pam and I will reunite on live YouTube. So there
Yeah.
we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One comment from Benjamin Rose. Hold on. Jade's affinity for using women singing in French/French music in podcast intros. Goated, my boy. That
He's
is
not wrong.
a
He's
weird.
not wrong.
That's a weird.
You know
He's
what?
not wrong.
compliment, but it's true. Yeah.
Total cosign.
Yeah.
Total
Yeah.
cosign. Absolutely.
You do that in a movie? I'm all in.
Oh,
Start a movie
I
with
hear.
that?
I hear. Says the bone. I'm in.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. Like immediately.
Ocean's 12. I'm a sucker
Mhm.
for all the
Yeah.
little transitions, and yeah,
Yeah.
But the bossa nova
got
is
that
still
from
the
Jade.
best.
yeah, they did.
The bossa nova is still the
The
best.
bossa
Just-
nova has saved many a career.
Groundbreaking.
Yeah. Where you're
My
like,
favorite is-
I don't think I
My
could. I
favorite
don't
is
think I
when
could
you guys
say
have
this.
told him to bossa nova something.
Oh,
and
yo,
it doesn't
that
get to bossa nova.
is a moment of panic where I'm like, yo, I told you to cut this shit out.
Well, like a month and a half ago, we were doing buds, and Trey's like, "Oh, we don't have bossa nova. Like, I can't do it.
No,
Only
it's-
Jade. Only Jade has
there's an
bossa
art to
nova."
it. Yeah, there's an art to forgetting the keywords you're supposed to bossa nova. Or he would do that thing where he like kind of fades the conversation in and out with the music, and that was terrifying to me. Absolutely terrifying. Like, oh shit, what did he leave it? Oh, thank God he took. Yeah,
Someone who's bad at redacting words
Oh,
on a
my-
PDF.
yeah.
It's like you can just highlight it.
We just know that Jade could never do that job in the CIA where he had to redact
Yeah.
something. Any of that, it
No.
would just be the biggest mistake.
yeah.
Well, he would want to talk about it. He would call one of us at like 1 a.m. to talk about it.
He would
That'd
put it
be the
out.
problem.
Yeah, he would absolutely leak it. It'd be like all the President's Men, where the reporters go to the first person at the Library of Congress, like, I can't give you that. Then they go down to the next one. He says, "You want it? I got it. Here you go."
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll
here
email
is.
it to you. John, what's your favorite part about the Jade experience?
So I met Jade for the first time at a summer league like soiree. And while everyone is there and you're just like you're having some drinks and you're cracking some jokes and stuff, like Jade, like the first time I ever met him, like wanted to go into the most intense conversation on the state of media, on who's controlling the levers behind the scenes, on how you're doing what you're doing. I'm just like, hey man, I'm just trying to get a free drink at Warren LeGary's party here. Like, what is going on? But then, like, but you like what I loved about it is like he generally wanted to like hear what I had to say and then have these, like, it was a legitimate curiosity about things. And so every phone call then we had, you know, subsequently, even if it's, hey, do you want to be on Buds this week? And then it like spirals into this long and winding road through it. And it was always like both super intense, but also very like interested and heartfelt. And so like, I mean, every time that we talk, it was always great. But at the first time, like he's looking at you out of those like squinty eyes and the side eye. And you're like, man, this guy really has some thoughts going around in that dome up there. And then it just comes right out, man. It's
the pod invite is such a Trojan horse. It's just like so misleading.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, by the way, while I have you,
yeah,
what do you think about this? And then he's going, then he's like going to school meetings and like, you know, championing the causes of his community and stuff. You're like, this guy is so much deeper than anything that I do. Like, I literally just write about the Timberwolves. I have nothing below the surface. There is nothing there. Like, that's all I am. And Jade is this just unbelievable, you know, deep character. Like,
that's not fair, John. You once wrote about the Pacers. There was a time when you wrote about the Pacers.
And
okay, there's a lot.
Occasional Viking story too.
Yeah,
I learned my lesson.
Occasional Kirk Cousins. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, John, how are the Timberwolves?
Yeah, it's today they're okay. Tomorrow,
who's pulling the levers of power?
Yes,
behind him.
Is it A-Rod?
Is it A-Rod?
Yeah.
It's about to be in about another year, but
I
yeah,
can't wait.
Why are the Timberwolves on layaway?
Because A-Rod can't afford to give them billions right away. It's like,
he's good for it,
we
Zach.
can all buy
A-Rod's totally good for it.
It's really expensive, but also the guy in charge doesn't want to give up the leash. Like, he always says, you know, he's well, John, I don't know if I'm ready yet. Like that's Glenn.
That's a
Glenn
really
Taylor.
good Glenn Taylor.
That's known him for 20 years, so like I've heard a lot of it. So he just didn't want to give it up, and he had about 8 other guys that wanted to buy it, and they all wanted to take the keys right away, and Glenn wasn't ready for it, and so these guys came in and said, no, we'll ride shotgun for a little while, and that turned out to be what he wanted. So.
I didn't realize.
We'll let you go trade for Rudy Gobert and ruin the entire franchise we are purchasing.
Jay King, come on. Man.
I didn't realize Glenn Taylor sounded like that until I heard John's impression of Glenn Taylor. And now everything I've imagined about how he talked to Andrew Wiggins about please don't be a terrible mistake is funnier by like factor of 10.
No, yeah, he's very like he's described as this small town guy. He's all the way in. Like one of his favorite things to say is, and stuff like this here. That's how he finishes every question. So, you know, well, John, you know, yeah, I think I'm going to sign Andrew Wiggins, but I'm thinking to myself, does Glenn Taylor have the money for that and stuff like this here? And like that's just like it's a Minnesota thing, and it's perfect. Like I love talking to him. It's the best thing ever. And you can see like how he has and how he's become this billionaire, because I think like he's like Columbo, where he sort of traps people into
one more deal.
Yeah, and one more thing here. And all of a sudden he's got all of your money. And
he's still sitting courtside. It's amazing.
Absolutely. He'll still sit there even when he gives it up. Like he's gonna still own some of the franchise. He'll be there all the way. He and his wife love sitting right there, and you know, I think getting jumped by protesters and things like that.
Are we gonna get more protesters?
I don't know. I mean, it's coming to playoff time, right? So, I'm
maybe.
sure they'll be on their P's and Q's and getting ready for it. So
it might be playoff time soon. We don't know.
It might be. It might be. It might not be.
I'm glad we got one impression in there because on a Jade-A-Thon, it would only be right to have impressions because Jade is just the biggest fan of impressions.
Oh my God.
is.
The amount of times he would ask me to do my Tillman Fertitta. Just on a conversation.
Wait. Zach, is Tillman Fertitta here? Is he joining the show?
He's a big supporter of
Can we
Jade,
speak?
Pablo.
Can we talk to Tillman? Is Tillman here?
Tillman might be here for a wee bit of a combo right now if you want that. Just shut up in business and we'll get to business.
Jade has nurtured the performance instinct that so many friends of mine have in ways that are undoable. The number of NBA writers. Oh my God. Amin, Tom.
He created a monster.
He created
a monster.
He did a whole press conference in the 4 building at the ESPN campus. Amin, who I don't think many people knew who he was at the time, was standing at a podium and impersonating Barack Obama in the Bristol campus, which felt like kind of probably an HR violation of some sort. Is making fun of the president at the time. And he nailed it. And it was the birth of Amin's Obama career.
Yeah.
And then Jade asked me to do Rodeo Joe at one point.
Oh, Rodeo Joe.
And then I think also he inspired me to do the Ban McMahon song, which ESPN does not allow. It is banned at ESPN, which is crazy in of itself. But that he also one time I think he was enjoying himself one night and came up with the idea that for April Fool's Day, Amin and I would trade characters. So I would do Hate Hard with Amin, but instead it was Hate Hard with Amin as me as Amin. And then Amin would do the big number as me. And I think 6 people got it. But Jade thought it was
to Jade, it was hard. Yeah, it was, yeah.
Jade thought it was the greatest piece of art ever to be published in media. And Amin and I were like, I guess that was funny. I don't know. Sure. But it was
Stage social media event. Stage social media event.
First time I worked with Jade was at the Sloan conference. And it was the first time I met him and the first time I worked with him. And I'd never been on camera before. I'd never done this shit. And he was like, let's just go around and make fun of these people. And I'm like, dude, I've been doing this for a month. What are you talking about? He's like, no, let's do it. So he has me going up to Matthew Berry and calling him a nerd and going up to a bunch of these analytics people and why are you doing this? Why are you here? And then he's like, go challenge Brent Berry to pop a shot. I'm like, all right, man. What are you doing to me? This is not going to be a good product. And then I don't know where the video is now. It was a good fucking video.
Of course
it made it great.
I need to look up that one. That one.
Oh man, it was funny.
He had
but
me
that's
do
what, Jade was he would be so serious, but he knows this is all bullshit, right? This is all just a game. It's all entertainment. And his willingness to push you to do things where you're like, oh, I take myself seriously. I can't do that. No. You get up to that cliff and I'm going to push you right off of it. And then everyone has fun and relates to that. That's what makes him such a genius is he gets people to be so relatable and so normal and ordinary. And it's just he's the best at it.
He had me sing on a podcast. I was covering Point of Contention once. Jay, I don't know if you remember this because you and Marcus were on there. He had me sing some song from Mannequin, which, by the way, terrible voice anyways, as anybody who's seen you do karaoke.
How do I not remember this?
And then
a
no
lot of people
music
block
in the
trauma
background.
out.
Yeah, I must have wiped that one out.
Which is why I don't remember a podcast with Jay. Period. In general,
you do it again?
But
could you do it
Yeah,
again?
No,
let's get a rendition.
Come
on,
no,
do it and we'll raise some money.
Get us to. Let's see. Get us to. We're at 85,780. Get us to 87,000. I'll sing.
You're shooting too low.
Small
Mo.
number.
Yeah.
All right, no, it's on
Bam
record.
McMahon, right now.
Yeah, see Tom do it.
In all land.
Yeah,
He
Tom
got
could sing.
Texas blood as thick as mud. He's Bam McMahon.
Yeah, eat that, ESPN lawyers. How about that?
Tyree. Might be texting, but he can count to 3. He's Bam McMahon. Bam McMahon. Bam McMahon. I'm just getting warmed up, boys.
I'll never get over Jade laughing at Bontemps falling asleep on the pod. That is,
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever found anything funnier than Bontemps falling asleep on the pod.
Has there been anything funnier on a podcast than falling asleep mid-pod?
That is an outrageous thing that happens.
How do you fall asleep during a pot? I don't know.
I mean, it's,
You listened to Tim McMahon too long.
Not an
That's
old
what
guy.
happened.
yeah. Yeah, you listen to McMahon a little bit too much. That'll happen. I need someone to donate $1,400 so we can get. We're up to 85,800.
Speaking of, there's Jared
yeah,
Weiss
we're close.
with his empty pocket.
There's the $1,400 donation. Jared, if we get to 80,
get some more money in.
if we get to 87,000, Mo's gonna sing a song from Mannequin.
I don't know what that means, but I'm excited for it. So
Yeah.
we need that money to come in fast.
We do need that money.
There's
Again,
no way you know that movie.
rolls off the tongue. GoFund.me/C53D0AFA. Sometimes you get lucky, you get a license plate personalized that just makes sense for you, and that's our version of this. Is that link right there? Jared, how is your Jade experience?
It's obviously fascinating. It's a song and exciting all at the same time.
Jade would be losing his shit right now, Jared.
Yes.
Your
Absolutely.
microphone
Yes.
is what are you speaking into? It's
I'm on my AirPods right now. It's not working at all.
Oh, your
God.
AirPods? So it is a Jade tribute.
So this is a
Because you're
I'm at a mall right now, just getting out of a meeting. Crap, I have 10 minutes left to get it.
We can't take your AirPods out. I can't understand a damn word you're saying.
AirPods. Got to ditch the
Jade,
AirPods.
look, Jade's one specific gripe are AirPods. He said,
Yep.
literally, I still own these things because
I got them right here, Jade. I'm corded in, Jade.
That's it.
There you go.
I am corded in.
Yeah.
We're pros, Jared. We're pros. That's why
Jared,
we
you're
have
at a mall.
Yeah, I had a lunch meeting and I just finally got out of it, so I had to try to jump in.
Oh, well, good.
God.
Yeah, lunch meeting at the Panda Express at the mall.
Who's
What's the?
My biggest dilemma right now is: do I make a Ja Morant joke?
All right, so yeah, if you guys
You
can't
almost
hear
have
me,
to.
I can at least talk.
I said it's a dilemma.
It is
I'm
a
not gonna
dilemma.
do it. I'm just thinking about it. I got a few in my
Yes,
head.
you're gonna do it. You're floating it now. You're gonna do it.
You got to do it. You got to just
Jared's-
watch
hey,
out for
wait.
those 5'3"
Jared is-
finish line workers.
Jared's way too old to have to worry about Ja Morant at the mall. Way
That's
too
true.
old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the security guard just kicked me out, so I had to come do this from the elevator bank.
Oh, are you calling us for backup?
Yeah.
Are you?
Oh,
So
this is perfect.
You're
Jade
too
would
tall.
love for you to interview people in the elevator.
Oh, let's go. Yeah.
Man on the street.
Make it happen.
Well, it's funny. I first met Jade right next to where I am right now because I also met him at Sloan. He didn't make me go make fun of anybody, but I think I was with Amin in some like ESPN back room, and either like Amin or Ethan Strauss was interviewing Bob Myers on the floor. They were sitting on the floor for some reason. I still have no idea why exactly. But Jade, I think it was Amin introduced me, and Jade asked me what I do, and I was hosting this YouTube show called The Garden Report back then, and Jade, like unprompted, was like, "Oh, pull it out, I want to see it," and he actually sat there for like 30 minutes and actually watched and gave me like really detailed feedback. The kind of thing that like someone who's a producer at ESPN at the time, you just would assume they would just kind of do it just like to be nice and they wouldn't really give a crap. But he actually was like
Right.
really thorough and helpful and actually followed up with me. And then years later ended up giving me a show with the Daily Ding when I actually came to the Athletic. So I remember just being moved right away, just seeing that Jade, not only would he like take the time, but he actually was genuinely interested and like genuinely enjoyed giving feedback and analyzing things. And like his passion was obvious. Like it's obvious to everybody that works with him. Like he he looks at this stuff as like a puzzle that he wants to solve almost, and so that was apparent like from the day that I met him.
Jade was one of the first people that understood that 90% of what I do is a bit. And that I can lean into those bits and I can weave in and out of those bits, but like, because he was like, "Come on, man, Danny Green," you know, and like,
you're also the only person I've heard declare 3 different players the best player in basketball on the same podcast.
And all role players, all role players,
all of them.
Remember?
Hey,
Remember when you almost fought
Anthony
Zach?
Day? Oh, well, hang on, just because look, are we talking Alex Caruso?
Remember when we were podcasting and Dave called Anthony Davis the best player in the world?
He was the best player in the world in the bubble.
He's never been the best player in the world.
At that time, he was.
Dave left the podcast in the middle of the podcast because he was so furious, and Jade thought it was the greatest thing in the history of the world. Because
I don't remember.
It was amazing.
No, Waz left the podcast once. I never left a podcast.
Waz left the company.
That's true.
That's true.
Yep.
That's true. Yeah. Waz once quit on a podcast. No, but I never left over it. I mean, look, man, like
you just said, Jesus fucking Christ.
I remember. Yes, I do remember this.
That
yes.
was over Alex Caruso.
I thought it was Anthony Davis, #1.
No, it was
I thought it was Westbrook.
Oh, no, wait. It was either Caruso or it was Edmund Sumner, which was also.
Oh, man.
No, I think Edmund Sumner was in the chat.
It might have been. It might have been. But
you guys were legitimately so mad at each other. And I can remember Jade was like texting us like, "This is great."
No. Because I remember that where
Jade loved that shit, man.
And Jade thought me and Zach were like not talking or whatever. I was like, "What are you talking about, man?" I'm like, "I don't have a problem with Zach."
He hit me up. He was like, "Hey, I think everything's okay with you and Dave now." And I'm like, "What?"
When was it?
I was like, I'm literally high playing MLB The Show right now. Like, I'm just like, I didn't know there was a going on.
Look, man, I can get upset in the moment and not be mad. I don't care, man. Like, Alex Caruso's not my kid or anything. You know what I mean? Like, the guy was just an all defensive, level player a year before everybody noticed it.
I'm trying to find. I'm scrolling through old text from Jade because I'm trying to find the song. And I just stumbled on a random text from him where he sent me the scene from Platoon where Willem Dafoe dies with no context.
Yeah, that's a good
the text
scene,
is just,
though. That's a
it's
good
a great
scene.
It's a great
that's
scene.
A good
but you have
scene,
to understand,
yeah.
the only time Jade texted me before was about podcast or whatever. We need to talk or whatever. And I just look at the text and it's just the scene from like movieclips.com or something like that. And I just question mark like responding, going like, what's this about? And his response is just like, my dad's a vet. That's all I got. That was the rest of the conversation. Like, great. Thank him for his service from me. Like, I'm not sure what else to say.
I like when we would go over the plan for, or the script for Point of Contention, and I'm just like, whatever, like I'll read it, like I'll just do it on the fly. I don't want to do any prep here, like I'm good. And he'd be like, no, we gotta go over it. So we'd like get on the call like 10 minutes early, and he had like all these like inflections, right? Like he's like, now this you gotta sing it, like you gotta sing this line. And I'm like, all right, man. He's like, this one's like Seinfeld. I'm like, yeah, I get that. He goes, this one's like Seinfeld too. Like, yeah, got it. And he's like, I want this one like, I'm like, yo, I got it. Like, just be Seinfeld here. Like, I'm good.
Were you trying to be Kramer?
No, he wanted me to be Costanza, I think. Yeah. Also, I think I've told the story before, but this motherfucker Jade, we're doing this first show at the Improv called Run It Back. And it's essentially just like we would watch a game show episode and then like break it down like it was sports. So we did a couple of those and they were really fun. But the first one, like week before, Jade's like, hey, when the show starts, do a monologue. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, do a monologue. I'm like, I don't know, man. Like I don't really like stand up there and tell jokes like that. I don't think that's in my wheelhouse. He goes, Letterman does it every night. Like, yeah, one of the greatest comedians ever does
at it
with 30 of the greatest writers in the world. Like, yeah, he does do it every night. You're right. He's like, you'll be fine. And then I And then so I wrote some stuff down and kind of memorized some stuff, and I get up there and the first joke just completely bombs. Like, just I fucked it up. It wasn't funny. I fucked it up, and it completely bombs. And so I bailed on it. I'm not doing the rest of this monologue, and I just start the show. And so then afterwards we're talking, and Jade's like, or I tell Jade, I was like, yeah, man, I bailed on the monologue. He's like, what? I was like, I bailed on the monologue you told me to do. He's like, when did I tell you to do a monologue? I'm like, you dick. Like,
that's bad
You
advice.
told me to be like Dave Letterman.
He's like, I was like, I said that. I was like, you told me Letterman does it, so I should do it. He's like, no, man, you got to be way better than that to do. I'm like, I know. What are you talking about? He had no recollection of telling me to do that. It was a week before.
That's amazing. I mean, but the truth is, though, I mean, Jade believes in you more than you do. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yes,
Jade
100%.
legitimately thinks Zach Harper is the most talented guy in America.
I agree.
I mean, no, hold on. Of course,
Zach Harper thinks he's the most talented guy in America.
Right?
That example.
But the truth is, I mean, I feel like he makes me feel the same way, right? And that
He makes you feel like Zach Harper.
No.
Nobody can feel that low.
No. But
Watch
it makes
me
me feel the same way. And that's the thing that I miss the most about every day, right? It's this job is sometimes too much. It's a lot to pay. I mean, it's so much stuff. And I know I'm not complaining about the job, but it is a lot. And Jade was always really good, man. You start getting down oh man, I'm in the doldrums about not just too much work, but also, sometimes you don't feel like you have it all the time.
Yeah.
And Jade was always great to pick you up and, make sure he's pointing out the positives, right?
I gotta, what's funny about that is one of the first times, there's the guy.
There he is.
There's the guy. Real quick before we get Jerome in here. Funny that you mentioned that, Dave, about he believes you more than anything. Cause there was a time, I think we were at Vegas Summer League, we were at some bar or something. And he's like, this is, I don't know, maybe 2014, 2015, something like that. He's like, what? He's like, what do you want to do with this career? Right. And I was like, I don't know, man. I'm just kind of wired in a way where I don't know how I get there and I don't know what it looks like, but I want to be the best at this. Right. I want to be the best. That's just, if I'm going to do something and throw myself into it, that's what I want to happen. And he looks at me and he's kind of contemplating whatever. And it felt like 20 seconds of silence as he's considering what I had just said. He goes, nah, man, that's too high of a goal. You got to go way under that. I'm like, I was mad, man. I was mad at Jade. And he never knew, but I was pissed. I checked out of the conversation. I was so mad. And I brought it up to him years later. And again, he's like, nah, man, go for it. He's like, yo, you want to be the best? Go for it or whatever. And I'm like, dude, you tried to ruin my confidence years ago. And he's like, nah, man, I don't remember that.
Well, I wouldn't be doing this now if it wasn't for Jade. Probably my mom had gotten sick and I had stopped podcasting. Yeah. And Jade reached out to me because he had been, I don't know, we had been kind of talking anyway. And he was like, my plan was I was going to go back and coach. Maybe go back overseas, maybe just get a high school job and figure it out. And he reached out, and then he reached out again a month later and was like, hey, man, just checking in on you. If you want to come do a pod, no pressure, come do a pod. And that was when I did the first pod with you guys. And it was literally, I was like, oh, shit, man. Well, you guys make it easy. Because there's a lot of work on your own when you're trying to build. I mean, Andrew hell, we all can kind of relate to that. But trying to build on your own is so different. And Jay just brought me in.
It's always been kind of easy.
Potting,
just kind of a natural thing.
Potting with Jade is hard, or with Jay is hard.
With Jay King,
with Jay King, with just the stupidity you got to deal with. Besides that, it's great.
Don't think if you're don't think, oh well, Jay's gone now, so they're going to talk shit. We say this to him every day in the chat.
Yeah,
podcasting with you is really difficult. Yeah.
You guys, we're saving you from the chat. You guys remember Office in the show The Office where they had Creed's thoughts on just a Word document? We're saving you guys from a lot of Jay's thoughts. We're taking the hits for you folks.
Thoughts. I'm very aware. I'm in that group chat and I just silently read along and wonder.
I get
how did
so
they
angry.
Get an episode off? It's really impressive how they got a coherent episode. Everyone's together on one page.
It's tough to do. Jerome, I miss you,
What's
man.
up? Miss you too. I'm in Atlanta right now with the No Dunks guys for a couple days.
Leave them. Leave the No Dunks
leave
guys.
them.
They're not going to make it. It's
We're tampering.
I don't know if
Yeah.
they got it in them. I don't know if they got it in them.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been with them for a couple days, and we'll see. We'll definitely see at this point.
I don't think they have the staying power. I don't
Yeah.
think they have the staying power. Yeah.
Like it's one thing. I mean, two of the guys are Canadians. I know I'm myself, but just like knowing where we come from, it's not a sure thing with us.
Not a sure thing
us
at all.
People from the north, we're too nice for this business, you know.
Yeah, way too nice. What's your favorite thing about working with Jade?
Ooh, okay. So, the surprises are fun.
Chemtrails.
For the most part.
Just come in hot.
Yeah. That's about as hot as those chemtrails in the sky. Well, that does get me. For the longest time, there was like a good period where anytime I looked in the sky, I had to forget Jade's voice or out of my head in terms of interpreting what it's just, you know, it's clouds. It's clouds. But it's clouds. No, my favorite thing about Jade is just the openness. Like there is this level of he always encourages you to just figure out whatever is your thing and lean hard into it. If there's anything that Jade does maybe more than anyone I know in this business is encouraging people to lean so far, maybe to a fault, into who they are as a person, what they're interested in, what they're passionate about. And then at the same time, he like does it in such a like nurturing way. Like it really just helps people grow and figure things out and become the best at this, even when they tell you that you might not be able to achieve that.
Right. Agreed.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree.
That you know how that started, right? Because we were talking about the Seinfeld episode where George says, "This is the show, and we're not going to change it."
Yeah.
And like
right.
after that, Jade just turned into like the biggest zealot of whatever we were doing. This is how we're doing it. We don't give a damn. We don't take notes, etc., etc.
His philosophy of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. It also helped that no one at ESPN was listening to the podcast.
Oh yeah. Whatever the hell we wanted.
It got different when somebody said, like, this is on our air.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's crazy when you go anywhere else and they're like, we have notes about what you're doing. It's like, people have opinions about how I do my job. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Yeah, he got me to just say like I don't take notes from people who aren't involved with the pod. Like that was because before I'd be like, oh yeah, maybe. And he's like, you don't take that shit. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, got it.
This is the show, and we're not going to change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the first working memory you have of Jade? You guys have been together for a long time.
Yeah, my first work is very easy. Tilt your camera. No, we use a different mic. Get
closer to the mic.
Yes. Get closer, get further from the light. What's the light? Where did you like sit on? Well, show me your room. No. Sit with this in the background. Turn around and turn this light on. Now turn that light off. Like, that was my first memory of Jade. Just I was like, this guy's a dick.
I would love when Jade during a mailbag would just make everyone be silent and be like, do you guys all hear that? Do you get who is that? Where's that sound coming from? And we just would stop potting.
Yeah.
But it's in the show.
Right.
And we're all just trying to figure out where
it's all in
the
the
sound's
show.
coming from.
Like,
Everything makes the show.
Jerome,
There's no question.
Mute yourself. No, it's not Jerome. Zach, mute
one at a
yourself.
time.
No, it's not Zach. Oh shit,
One
it's
at a
me.
time.
Never mind. Hold on, guys. I got to turn this off.
He would make me feel so bad, like because in the first couple of pods with him and things that I do, it was like stern talking to, and I'm feeling like I'm letting the guy down. Like I'm just like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm new at this. I don't. And like he didn't really care about that, but like he would look at my thing right now. John, get that sunlight out of the back of your thing. What are you doing here? Relocate. What are you doing? And just like straight out. And I was like, man, this guy is kind of an asshole. But then,
John, he'd start it with like, John, you're killing me, man.
Yes. 100%. Oh man.
John, buddy.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. Where are you at? What's your Wi-Fi like? Get to a better spot.
Yeah. Turn off the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
No, that's worse. Turn it back on.
That's right. Yeah. Mute your phone. Mute your phone. Unmute.
You guys ever get this text from Jade? This was when I wasn't working at the Athletic yet, and I was talking to him about becoming a producer at the Athletic, and I was like on pins and needles, just hoping to get this job. And he would text me randomly, and he would just text me, "Hey." Nothing else.
Yep.
He's just seeing if you're around.
I would
Just
text
thinking
him
of you.
back, and then that was our conversation for the next 3 days.
Good dog.
What's going on here? Like,
Hold on. You inspired me, Andrew. I want to look up some Jade text.
You had to
On road,
learn
I've been there.
over time. Yeah, of like trying to decipher, is this like an immediate you have to answer hey, or just say hey that like let him breathe with it overnight,
Right.
and we'll forget about it in the morning. It'll be okay.
I knew anytime I got the hey at 9 a.m. on a Friday, he needed me for the mailbag. Like it was just like, all right, I stopped responding. I just responded with like, I'm setting up now. It was like,
Right.
that would be the random time.
Saturday, June 4th, 1:53 a.m. Sup.
Yeah.
When I didn't respond to it. Wednesday, June 8th, 3:20 p.m. Yo, I said, what up? Can you help me decipher something? What's up? Hold up.
I remember once when Jade asked me, I think a day or two before, he's like, "Oh, we'll bring you onto the mailbag. Like, just be ready for it." And the mailbag at its normal time. But I was like working at an office at that moment, and so like I brought my mic, I like stole a conference room, and I sat there for an hour. Like, messaging like, is this gonna happen? And I know it's happening, like I know the show is going on.
Yeah.
And then just nothing happens, and then you just have to pack up and go.
It's just the scene from Whiplash. He's like, get there 6 a.m. and then like 4 hours later the class shows up.
Nothing. Nothing at all.
Yeah, one of the last exchanges I had with him was very late at night, and he's like, I need your help. I'm like, what is it? And then it's like 9 texts in a row of how he wants to change "We Will Rock You" into a song about the Kings. And he's like, I need the lyrics changed. I need you to rewrite this entire song. Like, okay, yeah, no problem. Let me just write you a song.
I sent him a link to this Showtime documentary, JFK Revisited Through the Looking Glass. It's an Oliver Stone thing. And I said, have you watched this? He said, I know the people that did it. I said, Oliver Stone? And he said, well, the guy, Jim DiEugenio, Stone is a front man.
Yes.
The best is the random YouTube videos you get from him. I'm like, I'm not clicking this link. I'm not going into this.
No, you can't risk that getting in your history.
Yeah.
Once it gets in your algorithm, you're screwed.
Yeah.
He's hilarious. One of one.
There's just so many texts of him
There was one
shitting on
time-
a certain writer. I really wish I could put it here.
There was one time he was trying to give me feedback on like what he wanted the show to sound like, and he's like, "I just want it to be like this," and he just sent me the video of the scene from White Men Can't Jump where they like almost get in a fight on the court, and I was like, "What? Like, what does this mean?" He's like, "You'll watch it, you'll figure it out," and then just like didn't hear back from him again for like 4 days after that.
Hey, look, it's the Athletic Sam Amick.
What's up,
Hey!
gentlemen?
Wow.
Hey. What's up?
What's going on? What I miss?
Just a lot of talking about the Timberwolves. John Krasinski just could not shut up about the championship aspirations. He did a really good Glenn Taylor impersonation, though.
He did.
Yeah,
He'd
really
be
good
the
one.
guy to do it. He'd be the guy to do it.
Yeah.
Shit, y'all haven't heard some of the Jade stories. Love that dude.
What's your best one?
Yeah, what comes to mind when you think of Jade?
Honestly, media hospitality in the playoffs, like that's where
Oh, nobody loves that as much as him.
Me, Jade, Sam,
Jeff Zilkett.
Yeah. Who else was there?
I mean, I don't know what year it was, but that's where I met Jade for the first time, and then many times in the years to come. And the thing I loved, and Zach, you kind of just hinted at it, is like for a dude who wasn't on the writing side, you know, he had a great sense and instincts about what we do, and he knew all the parties, you know, involved, and had like really strong opinions on how people did their jobs. And so you add that to like the open bar and a few glasses of wine, like then
just shitting on people left. And they'd be within like 30 feet.
Earshot.
And he's not quiet. Right. Yeah. And he's just like, shit. I'm like, Jade, you gotta shut the
he's right there, like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, he's like, fuck that guy.
And then I don't do that laugh. He just have that crazy laugh.
That crazy nervous laughter or whatever. Just like, oh, this will throw him off the set. We're laughing. Like, that's what it is.
Oh man. Where's John Gervais, man, with the story when he just disappeared during the NBA finals? Like there's a strong like 24 to 36 hours where Jade was just gone. And we like banged on his door and he wasn't there. And then like we called the room and he just was out for like legit 36 hours and then reappeared and acted like nothing happened.
Like, yeah, let's work. Like, let's go.
It was in San Francisco. It's one of those, because it's like one of those, you know, game one is like on Thursday. So we got in like Wednesday for media day. And then game two is until Sunday. So like by Friday or Saturday, you've been around these people for way too long. Also, there's nothing really to do past like media availability in the morning. And he just disappeared on us. We didn't know where he was.
I remember we're in New Orleans for the All-Star game. And he had Jerv carrying all the equipment as we were like walking to someplace, like walking from the arena to maybe the hotel or something like that. Mm-hmm. And he just and Jerv's like struggling with it, right? It's like these bags of like all the like tripods and lights and all this shit. And at one point I was like, yo, do you need some help? And Jerv like starts and Jade just goes, no, that's why you get an assistant. I'm like, yeah, I mean, sure, man. Like, like, I guess it's an initiation. I don't know.
Being Jade's assistant must be something. like just.
Jade always loved the fact that I was from Oklahoma and was like, just thought it was like the funniest thing. I just thought it was, I don't know if you guys have listened to the outro music on Slam and Jam, but it's just like this like country western sound and it has like a horse neighing on it. And I'm like, I don't even listen to country music or anything like that. But when he sent me that as like, here's your intro, outro music, I just was laughing just because I knew it just came from like this inner Jade thought of like, oh my gosh, Andrew's from Oklahoma. Like he just
prairie music.
He just got it all the time to me.
I mean, this is kind of your past life, but was Jade, and I might be wrong on this, was he the Ban McMahon originator? Like that whole.
Was it him or Tom? Because Tom did the song, right?
Tom did the song.
I mean, like seeing that moment and making it a thing and then producing it, you know.
It was, I'm trying to remember. It was when Cuban was like pulled his credential or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
it was right. Yeah,
right.
That was about like 2018, right?
Yeah. Something like that. I don't remember who exactly. But Jade definitely championed the hell out of it, even if he didn't come up with it.
Like I was
like, no, it probably was him. Yeah, now that I think about it.
I always loved how on the writing side, like he would find these moments, like the Ethan pod was the other one, where like oh, like KD's coming at you. KD came at you at a press conference. Like, oh, that's definitely the intro. Like, little slices of life from the field.
The Amin and Ethan court case over his Ethan's
the trial.
Yeah.
Was the
trial. Ethan's wedding. Yeah,
it was a whole thing.
Yeah, man. Zach, did you get invited to that wedding?
To Ethan's wedding?
Yeah,
I was there.
Huh? Interesting.
Yeah, I was
there. Mo, were you at his wedding?
We're reopening.
I was.
The case?
No.
I can tell you. There was one person. There's one person who didn't look like me. It was the DJ.
The DJ.
Yeah,
there was one person. I was there.
Good times, man. Sam, what was your first experience working with Jade?
On tampering. He had an idea. I'm trying to think how many pods we had back then. We didn't, we were still doing our own thing as far as not having the one stream.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do tampering, and he wants like a kind of a front office heavy, look at the league. And he was trying to create these different identities for each of the pods. One's going to be more X's and O's heavy. We got Nerder. So his vision was great. Obviously started off with Vard and I, and kind of evolved into what it is now. But he's just, he got a great knack for knowing what the fans want. And the production side, it's funny, even for me, Andrew, to work with you, having worked with Jade, you see everybody's got their different style.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are a little bit both extremes. I love Jade to death. There'd be times when I'd be going back to listen to the topper, and I'd be like, damn, Jade, your creative energy is amazing, but we're 2.5 minutes in here. We got
4-minute intro of French music and JFK speeches, and it's just like, all right, man, I don't know.
Have you guys ever seen Jade's his procedure?
No.
Anyone? You've never watched it?
I would be afraid to look at it. I would be afraid to peek into the Ark of the Covenant.
What was the doc on Apocalypse Now? Heart of Darkness. Yeah, it would be something like that.
But to Sam's point, Jay did a couple of one-mo things for me during the finals, help produce some of them, and he would just randomly splice in clips from the movie Shrek. In the middle of the play of what I was talking about. And there was at one point I had to just text him going hey, Jade, those are great. I don't know what the hell we're doing here though. Can we show the play? Or it comes back to the end of the play. It kind of defeats the purpose and stuff. It's there were a few where I was yeah, this one might be too off the wall.
I won't name it. Well, I got a question for me, but I won't name any names. But there would be times where I'm this person's not good for the pod. We gotta get rid of them. They fuck it up, right? And he'd be like, "What are you?" This is me telling him. Me telling to him. He's like, "What are you talking about? No, they're great for the pod. No, we're not doing it. We're not changing the thing." I'm like, all right, cool. And then a month later, usually it was a 4 or 5 week period. He'd be like, "I think this person's got to go." It was his idea. I didn't set it. I'm like, and I'm just like, "Yeah, man, I agree. You're right." And he's like, "All right, yeah, I'm gonna get rid of him."
You let it bake.
Yeah, you just have to let it bake with him. What is the process like?
Oh, it's crazy, man. It's insane. I saw it in San Francisco. We were supposed to go somewhere, and so I said, I'll meet you at your room. I went down to his room, and he's still working. He's like, I gotta knock this thing out. And it's just it is sensory overload. He's playing music and he's doing this thing over here and he's got something else on his phone. And I'm just like, how is all this coming together? And no, I just got it. And I think there might be berries involved too.
Yeah. It might be let's be honest.
You make it sound like what every 90s hacker scene is like. Just
it's what it's like. He's Hugh Jackman from Swordfish, I guess.
Yes.
With a gun to his head. And other things happening.
Bossa Nova there.
The Bossa Nova. That was a Jade.
The Bossa Nova is one of the greatest things. Yeah. Before there were leaks and all this stuff, all that was always being said on a podcast, but just Bossa Nova music. And from that point, it literally is my de facto. If I just want to go to anything quirky in a video or anything, I'm searching Bossa Nova somewhere.
It's funny because at first it was yo, cut that out. And then we listened back and we realized he didn't cut it out. He just played music over it. And then he started to it would whatever you were saying, if you were saying, Kevin Durant just mother effed so-and-so, and I think he's going to leave the Warriors and he's going to go to, Brooklyn or whatever. You hear the music and you just hear Kevin Durant, no, Warriors, zoning in and out of the words, which is in many ways made it more of a tease, more tantalizing for the listener, but also more terrifying for us. Is he's walking right up to that line where people are going to be able to suss out what I'm talking about.
Yeah, anytime I'd fill in for Jade on a show that like he was doing regularly, people would always be like, "You're like, I know Jade would leave this in, but like if you could just please like just do this."
Thanks. I would get a little gun shy like early on, and you would have to like really tell him like, Jade, seriously, for real, do not.
Yeah, please don't put this in the podcast. And he's like, well, I think I'll put that part in the podcast.
I would literally, if there was some, I would schedule alarms on my phone to text Jade, hey, I really need that out. Like that really can't be it. And not getting a response from him, but I was just like, fuck, dude. I gotta start making some pre-calls and everything.
I found
myself.
myself.
You might hear something.
Yeah, it was just shtick. You know.
I mean, this is a credit to him because I'm not a producer. You know, I just get on and do the pod, but I'm not in that headspace. But I would find myself thinking like him a little bit when it comes to our pod. So when I had that thing this year where LeBron decided to push back on our interview, and tweets about it, I told Andrew this. We didn't end up doing it because I don't have the balls Jade has. But like, I told Andrew, I'm like, man, like it's really tempting to take the audio of LeBron saying, y'all know what the fuck needs to happen, you know, and have that be like the top, you know, and that idea. But I do love like writing's writing, man. But you're on the byline and you don't have that direct connection with the listener and the reader, and like his ability to make it more theater, if that makes sense, like to take people into to that space through the audio, through these moments, the interviews. I love that part of his talent.
Mo will probably appreciate this the most of the playoff run for the Heat, where Jimmy Butler had said, like, I'm so fucking locked in right now and I'll do anything it takes to win. He had me say that like 3 times a pod. Like 3 times a pod, like, hey, to like say, he would text me during the pod, hey, do the Jimmy Butler line again. Or he would like on point of contention, he would write it into the script and like places it didn't make any fucking sense.
Oh, man.
Just like, I'm so fucking locked in right now.
The best is when we called Jay King while he was in a presser for you to yell at him because the Heat beat him. Like
the Heat made the finals. Yeah.
So I found another great text exchange. This is from November 6, 2019. I mean, why did Ethan want the early part of the pod cut? My answer, because of porn talk. Jade, it's harmless. Do I actually cut it? It's fantastic. Me, ask him. It's his pod. Jade, okay, but it's Ethan. He plays this game.
He plays this game.
Me, I know, but it's different when it's his pod. Jade, okay. I don't know if he kept it or not, but like this.
I'm gonna guess he
kept it.
Added echoes to it and alarms. That was the fun thing of, I can't remember what it was, some pod with Ethan, I feel like, but he would like have us come in and like yell like, I need fire alarms, I need, you know, whatever. What was
that? Was the intro to Ethan's pod.
Intro to
Ethan's
pod. Yeah. Radio Ethan, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Oh no, Ethan's pod. Yeah, how's the show? Yeah.
Yeah.
The best was when he'd call me asking to leave a voicemail for Ethan's pod.
Oh yeah.
You were Jimmy from Vallejo. Yeah. I was Mustafa from Egypt. So much.
That's problematic. I'm surprised. I mean, Tom was here earlier and he told the story about how Jade thought for April Fools you guys would swap. So you'd do the big number and Tom would
we did that.
Hate hard and how like 6 people got it or whatever. I feel like if Mo and I had swapped characters on Ethan's show, it would have been a little different. I was Mustafa. And I feel like that's something he would have asked.
Tune it in the buds next week.
Yeah. Oh wait, where's this? Oh, this is a good one. Hold on. Let me just vet this because there's some names involved.
As you vet this, I'm going to remind people again. Rolls off the tongue. GoFund.me/C53D0AFA. We are raising money for Jade Hoy and his family. We've had a lot of donations today. You guys have done fantastic. Amin is the former top donator. There was a brief time where he was the top of the top of the donation
Yeah.
list, but
and then people came correct, and I appreciate that.
Yeah,
What
you
are the
didn't have to
names?
do
You have
that
the
anymore.
names of the top donors. Let's give them.
I've got
shout out.
Silvano Tolu, $4,000. Alberto Degobi, $2,000. Amin Al Hassan, $1,600. We don't care after that.
Which is more than somebody else.
More than somebody else who makes a lot of money. Yeah, but we thank everyone's donation. It's fantastic. The support has been incredible. We still have a long way to go.
So this text exchange is a very long exchange about someone wanting to invite someone to the live show, but I told him this person won't come if this other person is coming. And then he confirmed that the other person is coming. And I said, well, then I'll just cancel the first person. And I told him, like, don't talk about this. I'm not here to resolve an issue. I'm just here to book. So just between me and you, because I know you like to be a chatty Cathy. Jade, well, it confirms my feelings for sure. Me, feelings of Jade, that person is a weirdo. Me, well, duh. LOL, Jade, and I'm sympathetic to weirdos. Is it
everything you said there reminded me of the Airbnbs? Like,
there you go.
After the shows.
So
yeah.
So it escalates. So then later on, he asked, "Should we ask Mav?" And I took a moment. It was like a little 5-minute break, and I said, "Wait, Maverick Carter?" He said, "Yeah, me and Ethan could hit him." I didn't respond.
When Leverage and Chat fell apart, all right, we've been defrauded by Brian Sussman, and it is falling apart. We are on a call. We are on a call with everyone trying to figure out, are we going to get paid this week? Like, what's happening, right? And Jade at one point screams into the phone, "I turned down Maverick Carter and LeBron James for this shit." I don't think he was ever going to accept anyway, because he would have had to move to LA. He wasn't going to move to LA.
Yeah, he used to yell that on podcasts all the time. That was one of his favorite things.
I turned down Mav Carter. I turned down LeBron James for this shit. I think one of my favorite.
The mic slightly. Just a second. In 2018.
Imagine the shop if produced by J Hood.
Oh my god! Just random music thrown in the middle. As Jorge Masvidal's trying to talk.
It's 3 minutes of like lively debate and then like a 24-minute musical interlude.
I love the idea of him telling LeBron, "Nah, you should say this. Nah, this is fine. Nah, you should do this. Would you sit up in the chair? Nah, slow back down. Nah, sit up a little bit. Nah, slow back down.
Can you tilt your camera?
Yeah, tilt your camera a little bit, LeBron. Yeah, Jade had me the first live show we did in New York, we were at the Gotham Comedy Club. Jade had me read dramatically the email he got from like his ESPN bosses before he left, like the email that made him
quit?
leave, made him quit. Yeah. And after we did it or whatever, and I think I can't remember who came up after us. Maybe Bomb. Like you guys kicked off the show after that. And we go to the back or whatever, and he's like, "Do you think I'm gonna get in trouble for that?" I was like, "How would I know? Like, I didn't work at ESPN. I don't know these people. I don't know what your agreement was to leave. I don't know any. Is this going out?" He's like, "Oh, I don't think it's recorded." I'm like, "Then I think you're good. Like, I don't think Pablo's gonna tell." Like,
Pablo was recording. I have
Pablo,
the recording.
yeah, Pablo was recording. We're up to $85,835, which is incredible.
How many donors?
We're over 1,000 donors.
Nice, awesome.
Yeah, we're over 1,000. I see that beautiful 1K right there for donations.
It's lovely.
Yeah,
I was trying to keep up with y'all when it comes to the game of Jade text. So you had me typing into my phone, right?
Yeah.
Not as good, maybe not as good as your guys's, but this is pretty good. Like life advice from Jade. And I can't give all the context, but we're texting about my guy Fred Katz on the pod. How Fred, I guess the way I'll describe it is he gave a little too much love to another media outlet in the kind of way that I found to be distasteful. and it is kind of my pod. And so I text Jade like, hey, like, should we take that out? And he's like, yeah, I was having the same thought. But the life advice is, he writes back, I go, I don't want Fred to think I was being too controlling. And he writes back, always pull rank.
This was I think I was having a tough week or whatever, and so he like sent me some part of the pod that was like really funny. I was like, this is great. And he says you're the best, you, all caps, like a second text. I was like, thanks, I needed that. He goes, you bet. He says, I consider myself an artist, and well, you know, LOL. And then that's it. And I was like, I don't know what that means.
An artist.
Like, did you just give me a compliment so you could compliment yourself? Would you sound like a Jade thing?
He was always so encouraging of me. We both have 3 kids, and they're all about the same age, and so we'd always talk about dad life. One of his last texts to me says, enjoy time with your family tomorrow, time flies, have fun. And then time passes, and then he just texts, sing a song, !
Well, Andrew, sing.
Yeah, you and Mo got a little duet going here.
I think we're good. My favorite stuff from, like, you know, I always bounce stuff off Jade when I do video things or whatever.
Yeah.
Like he did the one more thing. So one of the very first one mo things I sent to Jade trying to get feedback. I sent it to him on December 29th. The next text message I got from him was January 7th.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just basically asking for my address because my mic sucked. Like, I was like, we have no notes on the video. I said,
that's your note. Get a new mic. Here's a new mic. That's your note.
Like, that's it. Like, you know, I'm sitting there going like, Jade, like, help me out here. It's the best.
Amin's vetting one more text exchange here.
I love that.
It looks like a good one.
I got great ones. These are not ones I can say. Like,
I think one of my favorite things, he got me doing it, where like a respected person in the industry, right? Like just pick a random respected person in the industry, and people will be like, oh man, this person did such a good job. Oh yeah, they're great at this. Blah, blah, blah. And he would just take a beat and go, hack.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, just...
No, have you ever came to Jade with like, yo, this dude really good about his shit? Like, guaranteed he's gonna come back with hack.
Yeah.
That hack.
It's hilarious. Jade's hilarious, man.
Yeah, man.
Was always giving with his time, though. There's a number of stories we hear from people that are just like,
Too
I asked Jade a question about the podcast. Here's my phone number. And then he'd go and all that stuff.
He's now producing my podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm deep into this whole Sussman era. There's a lot of text.
Sussman stuff, man.
A lot of text about
this coming to a Netflix near you someday.
Yeah,
the Sussman story. I remember this is nothing to do with Jade, but I just remember a Sussman story where Sussman was trying to get a prominent media member aboard, and he had like talked to him on the phone or whatever, and Amin had said something to the effect of like, you know that like if this person's considerate, this means money, like you gotta pay money, like big time money. And Sussman like wet himself basically. Just like, oh shit. Amin,
no, it's
no good. It's not safe for live YouTube.
Yeah, no, I'm not comfortable.
You're not authorized to unveil that. We do appreciate all the donations that have come in. It really like it's crazy to think, because when I'll admit, like when the idea of the GoFundMe kind of popped up and everything, and when I saw the goal of 100,000, I was like, I just don't like. I never know how that stuff's gonna go, so I immediately thought like, we've got too many zeros on there. Like that should be like, and then like within a short amount of time, we were at like 30, And I just like, and it's like, it shows, I don't know, the commitment of the community that mostly Jade has built, but that we've built with Jade. And two, like I think it's impressive, like kind of way, the Le Batard community comes together, kind of the way the All Fantasy Everything community comes together, kind of way our community comes together. Like people just will reach out and do some really incredible stuff to support someone who's in need, and it's I don't know, it's cool as fuck. Like I'm out of adjectives for it. Like it's incredible and inspiring to see. So we appreciate everyone who's donated big time, but still got a long way to go. So donate more. Don't be cheap.
Donate. Do it.
Yeah. You cowards.
Do it now.
Do it now.
Don't be.
Take a second mortgage on your house.
Yeah.
Don't be a hack like Gideon. Another name that comes up a lot in these.
That's a weird.
Dude, that was a time, man. Okay, I won't find that text message, but I'll tell you guys a story. So,
oh my god,
we've gotten scammed by this guy named Sussman, and so while we're trying to figure out, there comes this other guy named Gideon, who comes in like an angel investor, like a true angel. He's like, oh, I got it, whatever. And we end up, Zach, were you with us in New York when we went out?
Yeah,
we went out and wined and dined with the guy, and afterwards, me and Zach looked at each other like, this dude's a scammer too.
Dude does not have money. Like, this is a scammer. Like,
anytime you asked him anything, it was just like the most shady answer ever.
Mm-hmm.
And Jade was like, I got a good feeling about this guy.
I just look like, what are you talking about? I have a good feeling. None of the red flags that went off with Sussman of going off right now. Like, what are you talking about?
Oh my god!
Man. Appreciate everybody watching this. Appreciate everyone who stopped by. Again, gofund.me/C53D0AFA. It's in a lot of our profiles and a lot of our link trees and a lot of our stuff. You can go to just gofundme.com, search Jade Hoy. It's the first thing that pops up. We're almost at 86,000. Still got to get to 100K. And beyond. But thank you to everyone for watching, for consuming, for being inspired by Jade, for reaching out to him, for crashing our Airbnbs at live shows because he said it was okay when it definitely was not, for listening to the pods and downloading and just being a part of the community that Jade, I can't even tell, like we enjoy the stuff. Like Jade enjoys the community that's been built more than just about anything. Oh, here we go.
I got it. This is a screenshot
Here's
of a text exchange between Brian Sussman, Tom, and Jade. And this is what Sussman texted. Tonight, was saw as a witness while I met this person and bonded 1-to-1. This woman who now, in parentheses, I swear, signs off on $5 billion plus yearly for a top media agency in the world, told me tonight we're going to be bought for $1 billion, and we have a follow-up meeting tomorrow before she leaves for New York. After I do my best here, we'll intro her to you two. Champagne bottle, champagne bottle, champagne bottle.
Billionaires.
And then he said, he sent me this screenshot and he said, I'm talking to Gideon ASAP. I said, don't commit, but tell him to be ready. He said, we just talked. He's ready. Thinks 1 million will be easy to raise, but would look to raise 5 million. We need to get out, man. $5 million.
I mean, look, Sussman we're at a Starbucks in Burbank waiting to meet with the Sklar brothers about some project they're doing. And Sussman is just going on and on and on. And he's like, it's really not that hard. People don't realize it's not that hard to make a $20 million company into a $250 million company. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's not anything. Text from Sussman, June 24th, 2017, 12:46 a.m. Tonight made us 7 figures minimum. Sussman knew it, man. He knew Jade was a star. Didn't see any of those 7 figures. All those figures walked away. Thank you to everybody. We appreciate the support. Again, GoFundMe.com. Just search Jade Hoy. Donate whatever you can. Or doesn't matter if you have 1 million followers or 1 follower. Share it. Post on Facebook. Post on Instagram. Post on Twitter. Whatever you got. You never know who's going to see it and how that's going to help and benefit the Hoy family. And prayers to them. Prayers to Jade. And we'll get them back soon.